Welcome on the Made Man podcast. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Get this across with your friends. I'm going to be talking about today one of the qualities that have made every self-made man, every rich man, every renowned man, every person that you can call a legend who has walked on this surface of the earth that you can ever think of. One good quality that without which there is no legendary, there is no fame, there is nothing like a reference, and there will not be any distinction on this planet Earth. Life is a system, and you must know how to operate it to be able to get answers from it. The reason why many are suffering is simply because they have not understood how life operates, and they have never sat down to study others or to study the system of this earth, the system of economy, how wealth flows. Wealth does not answer to wishes. People say, if wishes were horses, even beggars would be on horses. Bible says, seed time and harvest time shall not cease. So, but the problem that we have is that many are looking for harvest when they have sown no seed. And that is the reason why you have many people who have become slaves to money, where the society determines your value, where you are priced at the perceived value of your life by your employees. Do you know that each time that you spend working for somebody, each time that you spend on any trade, each time that you spend on any business, you are always going to get a reward, either as a wage or a salary, based on the perceived value that you bring to the system. And sometimes you're just a number. When they do not see that the value that you bring or they feel they can do without you, they really do not need apology in relieving you of your job. We are talking about becoming self-made or becoming made as a billionaire, as a millionaire. What is that one thing that you will need? The beginning and the foundation of every distinct and famous person in this life is what I call specifics. Specifics. You must be able to identify, for what cause can I live my life for? Don't say, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. Yes, they are good. But you must be able to tell the end from the beginning. Have you understood why God calls himself, I am the beginning and the end? He sees the end from the beginning. Bible describing Jesus said that for the glory that was set before him, he endured the cross. So, you too as a person, for the glory that you desire, you must be able to bear your cross. And not multiple crosses. The scripture says until a person dies, until a seed is sown, it cannot bear fruit. Until a seed is sown, it cannot bear fruit. It must go down. You see, those days that you spend in secret, those days that you spend reading, those days that you spend training, people don't see it. And that's the reason why oftentimes the foundations of buildings don't look very beautiful. Because at the beginning, you are spending money, pouring concrete, pouring cement, pouring resources into the ground, into the cleaning and clearing of the place. People don't see the gold in it until that building comes forth. But you cannot make any mark in this life if you're not able to define yourself. The end must always be in view from the beginning to be able to be distinguished. You must be able to recognize, who am I? Who do I want to be remembered? What is that one particular cause that I am yearning for? What is that after a year you are saying I'm going to be this, after a decade you are saying I'm going to do this, you've not done it. And sometimes when you're in your resting place, that still small voice comes back to your mind and they're still telling you, this thing looks negligible at this time, but you need to come back to it. Specifics. Tell me how many people that you know who have been famous, who have been rich, who have been wealthy, who you call legends, and you knew them for multiple things. Think about soccer legends. Think about the best singers that you can think of in this life. Think about preachers. Think about our investors. Think about our politicians. All of these men that we reference, I want to live our life for, that you always dream of. Think about the renowned business investors or inventors that we have today. You can call their names and I know you know them. You can talk about Elon Musk, of course, Jeff Bezos. You can call their names. Think about C. Ronaldo. Think about Messi. Think about Microsoft. Ask yourself, what has been very distant about these people? Before they made their fame and became who they are, there was one particular purpose that they sold themselves to. Some may have ventured into some other businesses, but they were successful and had a renowned name after they were able to create a niche for them and establish themselves. You must be the master of something and not the master of everything. You cannot become wealthy by becoming the rolling stone that gathers no mouse. You must be known for something. What are you willing to go down for? What do you want to spend your life doing? Until you answer this question, life cannot carve out a niche for you. Life cannot reserve a place of history for you. And no one who has ever been written in the history of this life without being attached to a particular purpose. Are you not finding it uncomfortable? And does it not look like an error that you want to be a millionaire, that you want to be famous, that you want to be known for something, and yet you do not know that for which you want to be known for? And there is no commitment from you to anything specific. Do you wonder that somebody 20-something years old, 30-something years old, even at 40, and you're asking them, what do you want to be at 50, at 60? Who do you want to be remembered as when you retire? By the time you're no more. And they want to be famous. And yet these simple questions cannot be answered. Now is the time to retire. Glasses break very quickly simply because by the simplest means, because there is a focused energy that can shatter glasses. Bullets are so powerful because all of the momentum that they gather as they travel hit a particular target just at a very tiny point. You may have been taught also that it is wrong to put your eggs in one basket. And I disappoint you by letting you know that eggs that have been spread out at different nests never hatch. All your eggs must be in one basket. And you babysit them like the mother hen. And that is the only time that those eggs can actually hatch. And most of you have been that way. I have also been that way. Putting your eggs in different baskets, spending time and wasting resources, and at the end, when you look at all of these things, none of them have actually given you that which you want, have announced to you or given you that reproduction at the level that you want it, simply because there were no specifics. For all of the various arts and crafts that you have chosen, there is no one that you're master at. If you cannot have mastery in your arts, if you cannot become the master of specifics, then you can never attract wealth. And life is repeatable. Systems are copyable. You can be able to tell the end of a man when you look at his daily routine, his thought process, how he lives, what he's engaged with, who his friends are, what consumes him, what does he think on, what does he plan to improve on a daily basis. Most of you are getting by in life, and life will only give crumbs to those who are passing by. It never teaches them any secrets. It never accumulates wealth. Money is a product of development. Money is a product of a system. When you solve problems and you give values, naturally wealth will come. You must concentrate your training and your energy on specific task skills until you have mastered it with confidence that you know that anywhere you appear, you always have something to give to people that can return value, that can return reward, that can attract payments. You must become wealthy to attract wealth. And you must be rich in your soul. You must be rich in your skill. You must be rich in your experience. Spend time to study. Spend time to learn. Spend time to train. You must become so good and wealthy in yourself that wealth will definitely run to you. That is how life is. Life is a system. The more you sow to yourself, the more you become that gold that attracts wealth. And people do not always note this, that life is inside out. Bible says, seest thou a man diligent in his work? Do you see any man who is diligent in his work? He says he shall stand before renowned men and not before middle class and mediocre men. Do you understand that? Have you seen anybody who is skillful in his work? Say he will stand before kings. That is how system operates. When you are looking for kingly projects, you go for establishment who know what they talk about, and your references will always speak. And nature in itself, your aura will speak, because there is a confidence, there is a development that attracts things spiritually. Man is much more spiritual than physical. So build your soul, build your spirits. You know, one good thing about life is that the more you develop, the more confident you become. The more you look at yourself and wake up in the morning and know that you're irresistible. The more you wake up and know that you cannot be out of employment. You might have a recession, you might have a setback, but you just know that you have escaped poverty. You must get developed to a point in yourself that you know that you have escaped poverty. Why? Because you have developed yourself to a certain level that you know that you are always going to succeed. That the skill you have accumulated and you have refined is always going to make you who you want to be. At that moment in your soul, you are becoming that man who you dearly desire to become. But you see a man who is confused, you see a man who is not trained, that is always fidgeting in his heart. And you know the good thing about life is this. We do not know that nature and the elements of wealth listen to our spirit more than it listens to what we say. Life knows when your resume is empty. And your resume for life is not about the paper that you carry. It's about who you are inward. And it's the reason why you get to work oftentimes. You are placed at a certain value. You are spoken to in some certain ways. You are relating with people in some certain ways, and there are fears in your heart. The system knows. And dwelling on specifics means that you're committing yourself to development on a particular skill until you can tell yourself that you have arrived. And that is what we call subject matter experts. You must have to be an SME in something that has value, something that is repeatable, something that can be monetized, something that people are able to exchange their money for the value that you create, something that can change the life of others, something that can speak of your value even when you are not there. And now is the time to answer that question. This question must be answered by the great, by the young, no matter your background, so long as you expect to escape poverty, so long as you expect to live rich, so long as you expect to be distinguished. You must find that purpose. You must desire it with all your heart. You must refine it. You must fine-tune it. You must give it the due diligence that it requires. You must burn the midnight candles. You must obsess about it. You must love it. And you must give it the due time that it requires. And you know, when you find this thing, some of the things that will let you know that you have found the right thing to spend your time on is that you love to do it. You don't find boredom in its repetition. You find peace even when there is no profit. You burn the midnight candle without any obsession. The reason why many people are happy spending their times without knowing that it's slipping away from them is because there is nothing that they know that they can spend their time. There is nothing that they are exchanging their life for. So everything goes. Anytime you find yourself occupied in a particular thing of value, one thing that will be distinguished, one thing that will be distinct in your life is that you no more have enough time. Because you are always seeing how that thing can be proved on. And you are beginning to see how limited your time is in being able to hit the target of development that you need. You will begin to see the urgency to invest more in training. You begin to seek the urgency, to see the urgency to read and to improve. You begin to see the urgency why you need to improve, do the things that you've not done. The scales will begin to fall off your eyes and you begin to see things that you need to improve on, and you become comfortable with procrastinations. You would have targets to achieve. You would have things that you want to do on a daily basis. You would have things that you would want to do on weekly and monthly basis. Because now there is something that is occupying your time and you are seeing a value that needs to be produced. And you're seeing the limitedness of the time that you have. Show me a man who has time for everything, who can stay on phone and answer calls for 10 hours, who can hook up with friends at every beck and call, not considering his own time, and I will show you a man who is not occupied, who is getting by in life. You could be doing a job right now that you earn and you eat, yes. But ask yourself, are you getting by? If that job is taken away, what will you be? Is there self-identity? Can you answer the question, this is how I'm going to go down in the next 10 years or 12 years? If you have not found these things to obsess yourself in, then wealth is still very far from you. Specifics. That call you must answer today. All right, thank you everyone. This is Dr. Faith on the Made Man podcast. Please do like, share, and subscribe. And share with your friends. Let's reach that 1 million views. Thank you very much.